Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another NBA mock draft reaction. And this time we're reacting to Jonathan Wasserman's newest NBA mock draft. It's a 2-round mock draft. We'll be giving the grades for the first round and we'll kind of skim through the second round. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and go into the description, submit your video ideas because there's a pretty good chance that I will be doing them. So, on the cover, we got Kyle Filipowski and Jared McCain, two pretty solidified first-round prospects at this point for the Duke Blue Devils. And yes, let's go right into the first overall pick. We have Alex Sarr to the Detroit Pistons. Now, recently, I've seen Zachary Sachet be mocked to the Pistons first overall, but Alex Sarr, in my opinion, still my first overall prospect. Sachet is definitely creeping up there, but right now, Alex Sarr 1A, Sachet 1B. Fit-wise, not amazing. I mean, is Alex Sarr really prepared to play the power forward in the NBA? The jump shot's not 100% there, and Jalen Duren can't shoot either, so you really don't have that decision to make. But I think you just have to go with the potential of Alex Sarr, and maybe he's going to be able to shoot when he comes into the league. He'll have to work under NBA trainers, of course, but at the end of the day, it's just too much to pass up on, in my opinion. Zachary Sachet, in my opinion, is kind of a future role player. If he'll play into his role, I don't think he'll be a star on any team he ends up getting drafted to. But I think he could be a good role player for if a team's trying to, make a finals run. I think he could, kind of slip into that role. Alex Sarr, on the other hand, I think he has star potential. And to the Pistons at 1, I'm going to give it an A. At 2, we have, just looking at that real quick, we have the Wizards taking Nikola Topic. Okay, I mean, I'm cool with this one. Wizards do need that future franchise point guard. Right now, Tyus Jones, don't know if he'll be back on that team next season. Jordan Poole just got benched, so there's that. And other than that, I'm kind of surprised they don't decide to go Zachary Sachet with this pick. Usually I've seen him go 1 or 2, and I mean, the Wizards do need wing scorers / shooters. I think Zachary Sachet fits that mold. And overall, yeah, I'm definitely a little bit surprised that there's no Sachet with this pick. That could also lead the Spurs to possibly taking maybe Rob Dillingham with their first round pick as their future point guard. But Topic to the Wizards, honestly, I would rather Zachary Sachet. I would rather Cody Williams. But if they want to take their future franchise point guard with this pick, then I think it's a fine pick. I'm going to give it a B+. I'd rather them take wing with this pick, but if at least they took the right point guard if they were going to go ahead and take a point guard. B+ for Nikola Topic to the Washington Wizards. At 3, we have the San Antonio Spurs taking Zachary Sachet. So they don't let Sachet fall any farther. I have mentioned that the Spurs are in desperate need of longer wings right now. Vassell, he's 6'4", 6'5". I mean, does have long arms, but I'm more talking about height here. Keldon Johnson, 6'3", 6'4". Osman and McDermott are not in your future plans. So getting a 6'9", 6'10" wing in Zachary Sachet kind of solves all those problems. Spurs, another team that is looking to get more shooting on their team, and Zachary Sachet 100% brings that. He's a great draft prospect. I think, like I said before, probably fits into more of a role player, and I think if he goes to the Spurs, he'll be able to do that, giving 1B obviously the main player on that team. But surrounding him with shooters like Zachary Sachet could be a good thing. So Sachet 3 to the Spurs, I'm going to give it an A-. At 4, we have the Charlotte Hornets. He has them going Matas Buzelis, and I sort of agree with this one. I know I've had Cody Williams higher in my mock drafts, but recently Buzelis has been playing a lot better, especially with the absence of Ron Hollins, and Cody Williams has not been playing as good. So, not Sachet. Matas Buzelis 4 to the Hornets. I'm going to give this one an A-. I think right now I would rather Matas Buzelis go to the Hornets over Cody Williams, but we still don't know if the three-point shot's 100% there. I'm going to say it is. I'm not going to say it is, but I'm going to say he has the opportunity to keep improving on it because he's shown it through the last couple of games he's played. But overall, it's a developmental player. He's going to have to develop. Is he a raw player? I wouldn't say he's raw, but I definitely say he has a lot of room to grow. And at the end of the day, we can make that argument that Matas Buzelis is the best player in this draft. Him to the Hornets, I'm going to give it a B+. At 5, we are going to have the Portland Trailblazers take Ron Holland. So Cody Williams dropping out of the top 5. Don't know if I've seen that too much. Holland to the Blazers, though, not so sure about this. Has had a season-ending hand injury, so I expect him to drop down the boards a little bit, maybe in the 9 to 10 range instead of the top 5 range. Previously, I did have Ron Holland top 5, but I'm just a bit scared to see where he falls, or if he'll even fall. Who knows? Blazers, though, I love the fit. I think it's an amazing fit. I'm gonna give it an A minus. Actually, no, no, I'll give it an A. Yeah, it's what I had as well, so I don't really have anything to go against this pick. Holland is an aggressive type of player. He'll draw fouls. He'll get into the paint, but like Matas Bezelis, the three-point shot does have to improve. But one thing that we've seen is that Bezelis has been able to improve that three-point shot, and Ron Holland hasn't really. So Holland to the Blazers at 5, I'm going to give it an A. At 6, we have the Toronto Raptors taking Cody Williams. I'm cool with this one. I mean, they do have a bunch of wings on that team that probably deserve minutes. I mean, obviously Grady Dick, you got Scotty Barnes, you got Grady Dick, Scotty Barnes, you got RJ Barrett. There's a couple of wings on that team that you probably want to start next season. Like if I'm the Raptors fan, I probably would look to start Grady Dick next season to really get that rebuild going. We'll see who they have at the 5, but at the 4, obviously you got Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Grady Dick. So maybe small forward's not the position I'm looking at so much in Cody Williams or shooting guard. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a wing. So maybe I look at Rob Dillingham, but the value of Cody Williams still being on the board here at 6 is too immense. Don't love the fit, but the value at 6, like I said, is amazing. So I'm going to give this a B+. Fit's not there, but the value, it's there. At 7, we have the Memphis Grizzlies taking Rob Dillingham. Yeah, he kind of just fills into that backup point guard role. Gives them a scorer off the bench. Obviously, you have John Morant to lead that team. But I don't mind Rob Dillingham at all. I think it's great value at 7. Someone in real life who could probably end up going top 5. And, yeah, not much I can say about Rob Dillingham. He's a shifty type of player. He can get a bucket basically at will. I mean, that last game, who did they play that last game? Let me check it real quick. Here against LSU, 23 points in 22 minutes. Kind of sums up the whole season for Rob Dillingham in Kentucky. Not amazing play, but Rob Dillingham was able to fill up the stat sheet. I think 7 to the Grizzlies. I think he'll play perfectly as a backup point guard for them. I'm going to give it an A-. I don't think anybody they pick at 7 is going to start right away. Honestly, I think the Grizzlies should probably look to trading this pick, but I'm going to assume there's no trades in this mock draft, and taking Rob Dillingham right here, it deserves an A-. At 8, we have the Houston Rockets taking Reed Sheppard. Don't mind this at all. Honestly, I think it's a good pick. For the Raptors, I think I would take Reed Sheppard over Jacoby Walter. It would be close. I think both of those guards are definitely on the same level as where I could see them being drafted. Reed Sheppard, I think, can either fill in as a starting player or can come off the bench. You do have your guards of the future in Amen Thompson. I'm not going to say Jalen Green for right now, but you do have Amen Thompson. Obviously, Cam Whitmore has had a pretty good rookie season to slide into that 3 spot, possibly 4, but you do have Jabari Smith / Tari in there. And at the 5, you have Al P. So Reed Sheppard getting another guard in there. Let's see if he's a future starter or if he's more of a 6-man. Doesn't matter. He is a high-value player. Such an amazing, he has a very high floor. Potential, don't know how much better he's going to get. But at the end of the day, you can always use a Reed Sheppard on your team. I'm going to give this pick an A-. I think it's great value. I think it's appropriate value. And the fit, I could see it happen, especially because this Rockets team does need 3-point shooting. And Reed Sheppard, shooting over 50% from the 3-point line. A-. Reed Sheppard to the Raptors at 8, or to the Rockets at 8. At 9, we have the Atlanta Hawks taking Kyle Filipowski. Don't mind this one. Jacoby Walter still being on the board kind of throws me off with this one because I would like to see Jacoby Walter possibly suit up for the Hawks next season. Being a backup guard, filling up the stat sheet off the bench. I could see him average 13 points as a rookie, especially if he gets minutes on that Hawks team. But they do need big man help in Kyle Filipowski. Don't know if Clint Capella is on that roster next season. If he is, then we probably don't look at big man. But if we're planning to replace him or kind of slide someone into that backup center, assuming that Naka Okongwu slides into that starting center role, I think Kyle Filipowski fits that. Could also look at Donovan Clingan, Khalil Ware, Yves Misi. There's a lot of players I could see the Hawks take. Walter would probably be my pick here, so just for that, I'm going to give it a B. But overall, I don't hate the pick for Kyle Filipowski to the Hawks at 9. At 10, we have the Thunder taking Devin Carter. Now, obviously, you guys do know that I don't love Devin Carter being this high. I don't even have him as a first-round guy, but you can't deny the stats. I mean, 6 games of 25 points since New Year's Day. That's pretty crazy. The Thunder are not scared of taking players higher than what they're projected. I mean, J-Dub 2 seasons ago, they took him pretty high. They're not afraid of taking guys based off of fit instead of talent, and I think that maybe Devin Carter fits that. But you got Cason Wallace as a backup point guard that I kind of like him there. He's been having a pretty good season. I think right now I probably would have Devin Carter as a first-round pick, but just seeing him at 10 is just too much for me. He's a good scorer. With the Bryce Hopkins injury, he's been that number one guy where usually he's not. But yeah, you can't deny the stats, I guess. I just don't see him as a lottery. Definitely don't see him as a lottery pick. Kind of hard to see him as a first round pick. But whatever. I'll have Devin Carter, to the Thunder at 10. I'll give it a C. It's just not something I love. I think big man here, like Stephon Castle still being on the board and going Devin Carter instead. I don't know how much I love that. Obviously, you do have a second first-round pick, so you could address big man with that one. But Stephon Castle on the board. I mean, even Jacoby Walter still being on the board. There are a couple guys I would rather to the Thunder here at 10 over Devin Carter. It's getting a C. First one where I'm not so sure about it. At 11, we have the Thunder taking Johnny Furphy. So, like I said before, they're not scared to take players that are not projected there. That might fit them a lot better. I guess Furphy could fit that as well. Just too... if the Thunder made these picks in real life, I'll tell you I would not be a fan. Just doesn't really make sense to me that they don't pick big man in this draft. I gave the pass on Devin Carter because I thought they could potentially pick a center with their second first-round pick. But Jonathan Wasserman goes ahead and takes Johnny Furphy. Would rather Castle, Klingon, Ware, Zmisi. There's a lot of players I would rather over Johnny Furphy, just as fit in general, because you do need another center there with Chet Holmgren, or at least another big body to fill the paint like Misi or Klingon. But you could also go another guard in Stephon Castle, who could play the 1 through the 3, very versatile, similar to J-Dub. But they want to go Johnny Furphy and Devin Carter. Okay, Furphy to the Thunder here at 11. I could see it more than I could see Carter to the Thunder at 10. That's all I'm saying. So I'll give it a C+. At 12, we have the Bulls taking Jacoby Walter. I swear, if the Bulls stay at 12, don't have to trade up and still get Jacoby Walter, this is getting an A+ for me. I think the great way to start this Bulls rebuild is to get a scoring first guard, like a lead guard in Jacoby Walter, who I think can come in right away, depending whether or not you move, obviously, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. I think this guy might be able to come into this Bulls team and average north of 15 points per game right away. I like the pairing next to Kobe White as the backcourt for the future. And I think starting a rebuild with Kobe White, Jacoby Walter, Patrick Williams, that sounds pretty good to me. Jacoby Walter is getting an A+ at 12 for the Bulls. It's an absolute steal in my opinion. At 13, we have the Blazers taking Donovan Klingon from UConn. I've said it so many times, they definitely need another center in there. At my mock draft, I had Donovan Klingon off the board by this pick, so it's usually been Kel'el Ware. But honestly, if Klingon's still available, this is going to get an A+ for me. Here's the deal. Duop Reef, not your future center. Irubaji, not your future center. Robert Williams, first of all, might not even be a center. He's 6'8". Second of all, injury problems, not so secure. And then finally, DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, I don't think he's on this roster by next season. I think Donovan Klingon can come in right away and possibly be that starting center. He's a good rebuilding type of piece. It's a big body in the paint. He'll definitely deter guards from driving in the paint. Good shot blocker as well. Overall, Klingon has definitely risen up the draft boards just a little bit for me since he came back from that initial injury. Klingon's been playing better as of recently, and I like him 13 to the Blazers. This is gonna get an A+ for me. I like this a lot. At 14, we have the Pelicans taking Terrence Shannon Jr. So Jonathan Wasserman is not afraid of taking interesting draft picks. Makes me more excited to see what else we got going on as we get deeper into this draft class. But you really cannot tell me that the Pelicans would not rather a true point guard or a true center here at 14. Kel'el Ware still being available. Yves Misi still being available. If you even want Zach Edey's still available at 14. I'm taking him over Terrence Shannon, at least in my opinion. And then point guard wise, Stephon Castle, I think that's a pretty good pick at 14. Great value. Obviously, Isaiah Collier as well. Maybe if you want to dig a little bit deeper, maybe even Jared McCain or DJ Wagner or some of the lower tier guys, AJ Mitchell. I mean, this guy's not afraid to put in some pretty controversial picks. So AJ Mitchell, maybe. Maybe if you like Tyrese Proctor, I don't, but maybe you do. There's definitely some point guards and centers that I would take over Terrence Shannon. I'm not feeling it. I mean, yes, he's averaging 30 points per game over the last 4. He's playing amazing in college, but we've seen so many great college players not pan out in the league. I think if the Pelicans picked Terrence Shannon in the first round, that would be bad. It'd be a mistake, to say the least. I'm going to give this one a C-. Honestly, out of the Devin Carter, Johnny Furphy, and Terrence Shannon picks so far, Shannon's kind of been my least favorite, just because of the guys on the board still that you could take here. I mean, Ware, Misi, Collier, Castle, all 4 guys I'd like to see to the Pelicans here at 14. At 15, we have the Magic taking Yves Misi. I like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. Can come in right away and probably be your 3rd string center. I know you do have Mo Wagner, but Misi is just such a different player. Lob threat, such an aggressive player in the paint. He's proven to be a shot blocker, and even on the offensive side, he's improved his offensive game so much over the last couple of weeks that, in my opinion, I think he could possibly be a lottery player. Wasserman has him going just outside the lottery, which is basically the range where I have him as well. I think him to the Magic at 15. I'm probably going to give it a A-. I like the pick. They do need more center depth, and yeah, Misi to the Magic at 15, pretty good. At 16, we have the Miami Heat taking Dalton Connect. Okay, I mean, they kind of already have the shooter in Duncan Robinson, but shooting never hurts a team. I mean, you can get as many shooters as you want. More shooting does not hurt a team, So, Connect to the Heat at 16. With Castle still being available, with Collier still being available, I mean, maybe for the Heat I even take McCullough or possibly even Ryan Dunn, but you could argue Dalton Connect over those guys. But Castle and Collier by themselves kind of throw me off on this one. I'm going to give this one a B-. It's not a bad pick. It's a player who I don't expect to do terrible in the league. I mean, he's a high floor type of player. Both Castle and Collier, I think one of those guys have to your pick at 16. At 17, we have the Raptors taking Isaiah Collier. Who was the Raptors' first pick? I sort of forgot. It was Cody Williams. So if you really end up this draft class with Isaiah Collier and Cody Williams, that's probably going to get an A for me, especially because I think both of those guys can end up being top 10 picks, and you get pretty good value on both of them. Collier at 17 and Cody Williams at 6. Yeah, this is going to give me an A. They do need their future point guard. I know you got Emmanuel Quickly, but he's not the greatest passer. Maybe even Isaiah Collier. I mean, he wasn't an amazing passer so far in his collegiate days, but he definitely has that potential. You could see him being guarded by Cody Williams in this picture, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, I like Collier at 17 to the Raptors. It's gonna get an A for me. He's a high potential type of player. He's 6'5" and he's stocky, so he's built for the NBA. I like the pick at 17, even if it's over Stephon Castle. I think for the Raptors specifically, I would rather Isaiah Collier over Stephon Castle. At 18, we have the Hawks taking Jalen Tyson. Wasserman really pushing boundaries on this mock draft. I mean, I'll say that, but okay. I mean, who did the Hawks pick with their first pick? He had them going. I mean, where are they even at? Did I scroll too far down? Where are the Hawks? Who did he have the Hawks taking with the first pick? Yeah, Kyle Filipowski. So, going wing here is not a terrible pick. Probably would rather guard here, though. I mean, I don't expect Stephon Castle to be available here at 18, but if you're able to take him at 18, that'd be amazing. But he decides to go Tyson instead. I mean, this draft class is full of unpredictability, in my opinion. You got players like Jalen Tyson. You got players like Dylan Jones. You got players like, even some of these older guys right here. Kevin McCullough, Dalton Connect. Devin Carter. I mean, there's a lot of older prospects in this draft class that I could all see as first-round guys. But I think when you have a prestige prospect like Stephon Castle still on the board, it just does not make a lot of sense to take Jalen Tyson here at 18. Also, you've got in your streak of wings, of drafting wings, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, AJ Griffin. Who else do you have down there? Sadiq Bey. I know he wasn't drafted, but he's on that roster. You have a bunch of young wings there, or not young wings, but wings who do deserve to play some minutes. Recently, AJ Griffin, not as good. Jalen Johnson is definitely part of your long-term future. Plugging Jalen Tyson in there, don't really like. Would rather Stephon Castle there. Mentioned a lot of times, but really it's true. Jalen Tyson, 18 to the Hawks. I'm going to give it a C-. Don't love the pick at all. 19, we have the Knicks taking Jared McCain. So this guy is really pushing Stephon Castle down the board. You know what? So be it. Jared McCain, I think, to the Knicks is a cool fit. I mean, top 20. I think McCain is pretty fair that he'll go in the top 20 in this class currently. Just a couple of amazing games for Jared McCain. 8 made threes against Florida State just a weekend ago. I just saw the next pick, but, try to forget it. Just a weekend ago, 8 made threes. McCain is a sniper. I mean, not much more I could say about that one. Right away, he'll probably get minutes for some team. I don't see him just on the bench for a team going into next season, because he could bring value to any team he gets drafted to right away, especially if it's to a playoff team like the Knicks. I'm going to give McCain a B+ to the Knicks. Only reason I'm not giving it higher is because, Stephon Castle's still on the board. We'll see how far he drops. And like I saw earlier, he's going to drop past 20. Yes, the Sixers could use backup big man. You got Kel'el Ware on the board. You got Zach Edey on the board. Those are just two guys I take over Ulrich Komche. But Ulrich Komche is a prospect. He is definitely a development player. He's a raw prospect. That's the word I was looking for. Not 100% sure if he decides to come into the draft this next season. I thought he was going to be looking to go the collegiate route. But honestly, if you're going to be a top 20 pick, then why not? Komche to the Sixers. I don't hate the pick. I'm going to give it a B-. Just would probably rather Kel'el Ware here, to be honest, and Stephon Castle. At 21, we have the Knicks again. Tyler Smith. I love the pick. I'm going to give this one an A. In my opinion, Tyler Smith has the ability to go in the lottery. He's become one of my favorite prospects this year. He's an aggressive type of player who can also hit down that 3-ball. 6'11", can play center in some rotations. Got a lefty shooter as well. But Tyler Smith, in my opinion, he's an amazing player. He can bang down low, and he can also hit the 3-ball. He's a stretch 4 basically, but he's not one of those skinny stretch 4s. He's one of the stretch 4s that can really play defense against some of the 5s in the NBA, who maybe other guys can't. Other stretch 4s, I mean. So Tyler Smith to the next year, it's going to get an A. 22, we have the Suns taking Dylan Jones. Mentioned him a bit earlier. Suns, I guess, do want to take winning players, but Stephon Castle not being drafted yet is a bit concerning for me. Wonder if this guy's forgot him or not. But Dylan Jones at 22, the Suns are looking to win, so why not get a proven player like Dylan Jones? Ryan Dunn I probably would prefer over Dylan Jones, but this is not terrible. It's going to get a B for me. Don't mind the pick at all. At 23, we have the Pelicans going Kel'el Ware. So the first pick I can remember this actually. They had them going Terrence Shannon Jr. First of all, the guy has some off-the-court issues, so we'll see about that. Second of all, probably would rather a different guard there. But getting Kel'el Ware at 23, someone who I thought you could have got at 14, is amazing value. This is going to get an A+ for me. It's a lottery player, or someone who I have projected in the lottery. Slip to 23 and you're able to snag him without making any trades. I like it a lot. Kel'el Ware brings immediate lob threat ability, especially after losing Jackson Hayes a couple years ago. You're kind of missing that secondary lob threat next to Zion Williamson for guards like, or maybe not even guards, for players like Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Dyson Daniels to utilize. I like Kel'el Ware at 23 to the Pelicans. It's going to get an A+ for me. At 24, I could probably just put it next, right? Okay. We got the Milwaukee Bucks taking Stephon Castle. He's going to get an A+ for me. It's a top 10 prospect in my opinion, slipping all the way to 24. Sort of feels like the Cam Whitmore situation, just a little bit. But let's see what he has to say. Mixing productive games with quiet ones, has divided scouts. I just think there's way too much upside to leave him out of the top 20, much less the lottery. So it's going to get an A+ for me. There's not too much I could say about this pick just because of how much he dropped Stephon Castle. I've talked about him a lot. He's a player who can play the 1 through 3. I guess he gets to go with UConn player Andre Jackson as well, back-to-back years picking UConn guys. But yes, Stephon Castle can play the 1 through the 3. Recently, his three-point shot has looked a lot better, so we'll see if he can keep progressing on that end of the ball. This game against Marquette, they destroyed him. He was one of the reasons why Tyler Kolek had probably his worst game of the season. And yeah, perimeter defensively, he's one of the best in this draft. He's an amazing slasher, amazing driver. He really just takes physicality. He just takes physicality and uses it against other players. He's one of the strongest players in this draft pound for pound, and I'm pretty comfortable in saying that. Listed as a shooting guard, but like I said before, can really play the 1 through the 3. 6'7", probably around 215 to 220. Castle really has the intangibles to become a lottery or potential top 10 pick. In the athletic mock draft, he had him at 5. I wasn't too crazy about that one, or I wasn't too surprising about that one. But him at 24 to the Bucks, definitely a bit crazy. At 25, we have the Nuggets taking Kevin McCullough. Honestly, would rather a backup big for them, Ethan Almanza possibly, but Kevin McCullough at 25, it's a player who's going to come in right away. By the way, not teammates with Christian Braun, because Brown went to the draft same year that McCullough came to Kansas, so if you're wondering if they were teammates, they weren't. But yeah, McCullough right now averaging, probably 18 plus points per game in the best conference in college basketball, I'll say it, Big 12. And yeah, should bring immediate minutes for any contending team. And I like him 25 to the Nuggets. Like I said, though, would rather back up big. But if McCullough slips to 25, it's a good pick. It's going to get an A from me. I like it. At 26, we have the Wizards taking Jean Salon. Now, I'm going to admit, completely forgot about him. Him at 26 is going to get an A plus for me. It's a guy in my... actually, it's going to get an A for me. With your first pick, you went ahead and took... Let me just try to do this quick. Nikola Topic. And with your second pick, you're able to go with another potential lottery guy in Jean Salon. Salon, pretty similar to Risache, not as good as a shooter, but is good at driving. Definitely a raw prospect. But if we can progress to Jean Salon, we can view him in the future as a potential top 10 player from this draft class. And be able to snag him at 26 is going to be huge for the Wizards. It's a great way to start the rebuild, in my opinion. I like it a lot. It's going to get an A plus. Oh, no, it's going to get an A from me. Excuse me. At 27, we're going to have the Cavs take Tristan da Silva. Don't mind this. I'm going to be honest. This picture's from last year because you got Jaime Hawkins in the image. Same thing with Amari Bailey. But I guess I'm cool with this one. Tyler Smith being off the board. That would be an amazing fit. Tyler Smith was able to slip to 27. He doesn't have it, though, which I respect. But Da Silva at 27, there's not so much I can say about this pick. It's going to get a solid flat B for me. Yeah, he's a great collegiate player. We'll see if he translates to the NBA. Don't know if he gets minutes right away for this Cavs team. And even if he does, don't know how great he'll be. But yeah, we have a lot of these older collegiate players who are averaging plus 18 points per game going this first round, which honestly I don't really mind. Except for Devin Carter. And Terrence Shannon, because I don't know what that was. At 28, we have Ryan Dunn to the Thunder. Now, honestly, I don't mind Ryan Dunn slipping this far down. He has had an up and down type of season. This guy thinks that he hasn't, or that Ryan Dunn hasn't, the scouting report hasn't changed on him all season. I think he definitely started off a little bit hotter than he's been recently. Would probably still have him as a top 25 player, so it's definitely a little bit of a fall. But I think for the Jazz, it could be a guy who plays right away or someone who could sit on the bench and maybe utilize the G League, because he does have to start progressing that three-point shot. He doesn't have it yet, at all. He's not a good three-point shooter at all. But he's a slasher and he's an amazing defender. At 28 to the Jazz, it's going to get an A from me. I like the pick. At 29, we have the Timberwolves taking KJ Simpson. Like I said before, another one of those older collegiate players averaging 18 plus points per game that's going to be going in this mock draft. 19.2 points per game. Don't mind this to the Timberwolves. I said AJ Mitchell all season, or not all season, but as of recently, because I do like the fit if he ends up with the Timberwolves. But with DJ Wagner still being on the board, I kind of feel like that has to be the pick. But honestly, KJ Simpson to the Timberwolves, don't mind it. It's going to get a B for me. It's not it's fine. They need another point guard, or maybe a point guard who can come off the bench, and I think that KJ Simpson can fill that. At 30, we have the Boston Celtics taking Colin Murray Boyles. Now, haven't heard too much about this guy, But I guess with South Carolina's prominence, they've been playing better recently, but had 2 straight losses, which dropped them from the top 10 team to what are they, like 22, 23 now? So I guess with the progression of South Carolina, we'll see the progression of this guy. Like I said, haven't heard too much about him. I've watched him in some games. Hadn't really seemed like really a first-round guy for me. Did have 31 points against Vanderbilt, but he's 18 as well, so I guess there's potential there. Personally, me do see him as more of a second-round guy, though. Yeah, haven't heard too much buzz about him going in the first round, but honestly, it's okay for me. It's gonna get him to the Celtics at 30. It's gonna get a B+. At 31, we have I guess this is the first of the second round. Bobby Quintman to the Raptors. Sure. I'm not going to give these guys grades. I think that's a good pick. After that, we got also Iguodala, a great backup big for the Jazz. Zach Edey, mentioned before, he'll be a second-round guy. Pele Larson, Melvin Ajinca, Hunter Salas here, Kayshawn George, a guy in my opinion should be a first-round guy. Harrison Ingram, Adem Bona, AJ Mitchell, all the way up 40. Would like to see him a bit higher next time. We got Jamal Shedd, Peyton Sanford, Deron Holmes II, Adama Ball, PJ Hall, Pacome Dadier. We got Tyler Kolek. We got Alex Caravan. We got Baylor Shireman. We got Ethan Almanzo slipping all the way to 50. Interesting. Judah Mintz, Trey Alexander, Tyrese Proctor. Ooh, 53. You know I like that. Tyrese Proctor is not, or at least in my opinion, is not a great prospect. But some teams will like him. Maybe a team will draft him in the top 30. I like seeing him at 53 though. Just saying. We have Trevon Brazile. We got AJ Wagner falling all the way to 53. Okay. I don't. See him as probably a first-round guy, but he has been playing a little worse recently. I expect him to pick it back up though. Coleman Hawkins at 56. Antonio Reeves. And Johnny Broom to finish the draft. Top of my head, is there anybody he left out that probably could have made it? Honestly, I think he probably hit everybody in this mock draft. Let's see if he said anything. Hasn't. This mock draft was definitely interesting. One of the more wild ones we've seen recently. Obviously, with the picks like Johnny Furphy being a top 11 pick, Devin Carter being a top 10 pick. Who else did he have? Terrence Shannon being a lottery pick. There were a couple of picks where I was a little bit confused. Overall, do respect Jonathan Wasserman as a draft analyst. Did this bring his respect down a little bit? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, this was definitely surprising. I'm so excited to be able to do my next mock draft, though. It's going to be right before the conference tournament starts. We do have a couple of weeks left, I think 2 or 3. But overall, yeah, NBA season getting more or closer to the end of the season, so more excited to see these draft prospects prosper. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go to the description, request some videos, because I'll do most of them. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. See you next time. Peace.